Hi there, my name is Ethan Mills, and this is my final project for church administration, law, and finance. I just want to take the next few minutes of your time to talk about protecting our children in our churches. When we talk about churches and in the instances we're taken to court for things that have happened, whether on our premises involving people in our church, the number one issue that we face is sexual misconduct, whether that's molestation or improper contact. There's just all of these things that we can face as issues, and we need to be doing our best to protect our children. So I just want to go over a few things that we can do as a church, as leaders in our churches, to help protect ourselves, but more importantly, protect our children. The first thing is a written application for volunteers who are wanting to serve with children. It's a great way for us to keep track of who is serving and how they have applied. If we have a written application, we can get their basic information, who they are, where they live, all of these pertinent things, as long as important questions that we can put on that application that will lead to a few other points that I'm going to talk about. But we need to have a solid basis and category of everybody who is serving, and written applications are a great way to implement that. Another thing, the second thing, is an interview. Oftentimes, we have people that serve with our children that we might be very familiar with and have that confidence, but a lot of times, especially in larger churches, we have people that want to serve that we might not have that relationship with. Interviews are important and crucial so we can take time to ask them, why do you want to work with kids? Do you have any prior experience? And getting that one-on-one time or in that group time, we can begin to understand this person's heart, why they want to serve, and why they want to work with children. It helps encourage us as to why they want to, as well as we can get some insights into these people and whether or not that they should be working with children. And tying in with that written application, one thing that it applies with is our third thing is the background check. Are we background checking our leaders and our volunteers? Now, when we talk about background check, there should be two explicit levels that we're background checking them. And that is the first one, the National Criminal Database, as well as the National Sex Offender Registry. We need to make sure that we are doing our due diligence to double check to make sure that the people serving are safe for our children. It doesn't matter how well you know someone. It doesn't matter if you're best friends with them. We need to make sure that we are double checking for the safest possible options for our kids. Our written applications can have those forms that allow them to give us permission to fulfill these things. But the second thing that it can also do on those checks, which would be the fourth item, is a reference check. Now, reference checks do not mean the personal reference checks. If somebody is filling out a personal reference form, they can put anybody's name in there who will give them a good reference, whether or not they deserve and earn it. When we talk about reference checks, we need to talk about institutional reference checks. Where have these people worked with children before? Have they worked with children before? Have they been a scout leader, Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts? Are they a teacher? Do they work in the school districts? Have they worked at daycares? Have they worked in other churches? And so by instituting these types of reference checks, we can contact these businesses, these locations, ask them how long, and are these people suitable to work with our children? The next thing, the fifth thing, is the two adult rule, that an adult should never be left alone with the child. Now, we talk about the two adult rule, but does not exclusively mean two adults. It could be other kids, other students in the classroom. We can look at our public schools for this reference. You go into a public school, 25 to 50 kids in a room with only one teacher. The reason we reference the two adult is because we need to make sure explicitly that adults are not alone with children at any point. This helps protect the children, this helps protect the church, and this helps protect the leaders who are on that one-on-one time, whether that's in restrooms, whether it's in classroom, whether it's in hallways. We need to make sure that they are following that rule. And the last thing, number 6, is something called the 6-month rule. It gives us an opportunity to view these people and how long they've been in your church. It's recommended that they spend about 6 months with your church as a part of your congregation, as a part of your church, because it does send up some red flags if you have people immediately joining your church and immediately wanting to work with children. Using that 6 months helps us to see that who they are as a person, helps others in the church get to know them, creates relationship, and helps us view and understand to see if they would be good with working with children. These 6 things are incredible ways that we can use to protect our children in churches, and in doing so, protect churches from court cases, from liability, from being sued. So these are just a few things that we can do to protect our church, but most importantly, to protect our children. Thank you.